appreciated the fact that Dr. Ellison had a very good sense of humor, and we got used to each other's sense of humor since I was down in the office every morning doing the announcements. And one time last year, he had given a rousing speech about how we were all Audubon Eagles and we were going to soar and it was going to be a great year. And he got done, and I was tired, I presume, and I turned to him and said, Dr. Ellison, I'm just not up to being an eagle this year. I'm going to attempt to be a pigeon. That's about where I'm at this year. And he just laughed and laughed and laughed, and I thought, that's good. He has a great sense of humor. So I spent the year being a pigeon, and he spent the year being an eagle, and we got along just fine. So Dr. Ellison, thank you for your wonderful sense of humor.
One of my favorite Dr. Ellison moments was one week we had an assembly, and our kids saw Dr. Ellison speak to the school. The next morning, while we were walking to the school, one of our students looked up to Dr. Ellison and said, "Hey, you're the principal." And Dr. Ellison looked down at him and said, yes, I am," and tapped him on the head. "Good morning, friend." I just thought it was the most cutest thing.
Good evening, Larry. I hope you're having a wonderful time tonight. Two things that I'm going to remember. One of the last times I spoke to you in your office, I can remember that the newspaper did a story on your retirement, and of course they had to mention your salary. And I thought, this guy's here every day at 7 a.m., and there were nights when I was reffing School of the Arts games in the gym, and it was 7:30 or 8, and you were still here working. So nobody gives you credit for that. The second thing I remember is that picture that used to hang inside your office door. There was you towering over this little kid. It looked like it was on the street outside of school number 2. And you were less an authority figure than you were a protector and an advocate for this little kid who probably barely made it up to your knee or your waist. So that's going to be my enduring memory. Congratulations.
So one of my most memorable stories with Dr. Ellison was when I first came back to 33. I was pregnant with my son Cole, and I went into his office to talk about my maternity leave, and Dr. Ellison looked at me and he said, "You're pregnant?" And I was out to here, hugely pregnant at that point, and I thought that was really funny.
Okay, a very vivid moment I remember with Dr. Ellison was when I was a 6th grade teacher, and we had to make a very needed visit to a family. And I followed his car, and we went to the neighborhood and went to the door. We weren't received very warmly, but it was great to see the kid's face. I mean, he just came out of nowhere, and he was like, "Whoa, I have the principal at my house." So that was an awesome moment. I always remember that.
Okay, I want to share with you one of the first meetings I had with Dr. Ellison. It was actually at my job interview, and I met with him and Carmen in his office. I came to the interview, and I had worked in customer service at another company, actually at a call center. And that contract ended, and I went and took the civil service exam and passed it. And there I became, quote unquote, qualified for a clerk. And so I got an interview. Carmen called and wanted me to come in. I came into the office, and first time I met Dr. Ellison, and of course this isn't original, but my first impression was, man, he's a big guy. And so then when we finally sat down at a table and we began the interview, Dr. Ellison made me feel very comfortable, and after getting over his bigness and that intimidation, we began to talk, and it was a good interview. And I always felt that when I went into an interview, my age might be a hindrance, but in conversation, I felt like it went well. And but I also learned that multitasking was key in this position, and my age, multitasking is a foreign word, but I thought, well, qualified. So anyway, it went well, and I went home, and I had another opportunity, and I called back and told Dr. Ellison that, and he said he understood, and he talked with me about it, and he said, take your time, make your best decision, and I appreciated it very much, and I made the decision to come here to School 33. It was one of my best decisions, working with a great principal and a great team here at 33. I've been very thankful for that. And I always felt like Dr. Ellison was very open. I could come to him with a question. He would spend the time needed to talk about it, and wouldn't dodge any questions. I never felt like I was just getting a scripted answer. And he would always take the time needed. So I was very thankful for that. And I'm sure, Dr. Ellison, you have touched a lot of people in a lot of ways in some what seemingly may seem like small gestures on your part. But I thank you. This old guy thanks you for the opportunity to work in the office and experience some very positive things. Thank you.
I remember first meeting Dr. Ellison when I was 10 years old, and I was going to number 12 school. At that time, I had a very unruly class, and we were in clusters. So the break aide that was in the room at the time sent me out to find help because our class was doing something that was very inappropriate. So I went with another girl, and at that time I was a selective mute, so I didn't know who I was going to speak to. And when I was running out, I heard someone say, "Hey, where are you going, girl?" And I turned around, and it was him, and he was very, very tall, and I was afraid. But then he squat down and he was talking to me, and it made me feel very calm. And so I went ahead and told him what was happening in the classroom, and that made me feel good because I felt comfortable talking to him. So he sprung right into action. He went right into the room. He got those rowdy kids to calm down, and from that day on, I never forgot who Dr. Ellison was.
33 Principal Larry Ellison wasn't looking to hog all the attention recently when students gathered in the school's main auditorium to celebrate increased scores on the New York State Standards Grade 4 English Language Arts exam.
Today we're here at school number 33 to have a celebration. Today we're here to recognize our fourth graders for meeting standards last school year. 54% of our fourth graders passed the ELA New York State exam. As a result of that, we're going to have an assembly in their honor. I challenged them last school year that if at least 48% of our fourth graders met New York State standards, I would kiss a pig. Well, guess what? Not only did they meet the standards, in terms of percentage, they exceeded it. 54% of our fourth graders passed the New York State exam. So, as a result of that, I am here today to keep my promise. I have a pig on the stage that was brought in by a farmer from Fairport, New York. His name is Mr. Wagner. And shortly, there will be a number of fourth graders in our cafeteria, and they will literally see me kiss a pig. And they are. For your information, I will keep my promise here today shortly. And I will issue another challenge to those of you in the audience who are fourth graders this year, because this does not stop at a given point. This is continuous learning. From this point, pre-K, actually even before you come to school, for the rest of your lives. You will always learn something. Okay, keep that in mind. Now, well, True Tone just jumped. So, and I'm shaking so much. Now, I have to, again, keep my promise, but I need to do one thing. I've been practicing puckering. You did? Okay. Apparently, it's already been arranged in terms of what I'm to do. So, here I go. We get ready to do this. You got it. Let's get this pink kissing celebration underway again. One more time. Okay.
That's all, folks.
Well, my favorite Larryism is simply this: it has to be good for the organization.
Let's talk offline.
Go forth. I'll make this quick. With that being said, the thinking is
There have been some rumblings in the organization.
Audubon Eagles. Hi, this is Larry Ellison, principal of school number 33. I'm sorry to bother you at home.
let's talk if needed.
I'll be brief.
After all it's said and done, for the good of the organization, in the spirit being proactive. Help me understand. Uncomfortable conversations. Ho, ho, ho.
Well, I'm just glad to be able to say something on behalf of Dr. Ellison. I'm thinking about the first time I met him. I was coming to School 33, didn't really know what to expect, but just such a genuine person about being here and helping me and supporting me as an administrator at School 33. Just such a wonderful feeling of welcome. It was just so wonderful, and I was glad at this time of my career to be joining such a wonderful person, such a great leader. I learned so much from him in just a few, well, it was actually only 2 years that we worked together. And so I will always remember the kindness and the love for people and children that I felt he had for everybody in the building. It wasn't just the staff, it wasn't just the parents or the students, but it was everyone. He wanted to do the best for everyone. So Dr. Ellison, you will be remembered for a very, very long time. And what you've left here, your integrity, your kindness, and your compassion for other people and for the children. I learned so much from you, and I just thank you so much. You were a wonderful person. Thank you.
We love
you,
Dr. Ellison.
Aww.
Dr. Ellison, a great principal builds character, inspires dreams, encourages creativity, builds confidence, instills a lot of learning, touches our hearts, and changes our lives forever. You have left a lasting impact on all those who have known you. Thank you so much for being part of my story and part of our story here at School 33.
Hi, Dr. Ellison. This is Mrs. Cross. I'm still working hard. I just want to say thank you for all the things that you have done for me and my family when we had a few incidents and you was there. And you've always been there from the beginning. I miss you. I want you to do what you need to do. And we miss you. And from the PTA. PTA want to say thank you for all you've done for us and how we've stayed the course with you. We'll still continue to stay the course.
So I guess I'd like to talk a little bit about School 33, John James Audubon, School number 33. I had a slide in that extra little Larryism. And what I learned from the school family, our school organization, and from Larry Ellison, our fearless leader. Larry, you taught me elementary, and lo and behold, boy did I realize I had a lot to keep learning. I think some of the most important things you taught me were children always come first. And I remember coming to you with a problem, a challenge, and you and I sat and talked, and then you said, "This is going to be easy, Laurel." I said, "Why?" And you said, because I will choose always for children first. And that was one of the main themes that I used when I moved into my leadership role of principal, which is a very humbling role and lonely. And Larry, you continually were my mentor. No matter what I needed, you always seemed to tell me it was going to be a-okay. Thank you, Larry.
So Larry, I know I told you last year that I was going to retire this year, and I certainly did. And you decided also to retire this year, but rather late in the summer. A-okay, you see the smile on my face, and I think I see one on yours too. But what interests me is your retirement is a different venue than mine. I said everywhere I've been when I'm visiting my school interns, I find you, Larry, substituting. Retirement or not? That is the question. So Larry, what I say to you is whatever you decide to do, I'm sure you're going to do it as most fabulously as you can. And this is what I say, woo!
Dr. Ellison, sorry I missed out on this well-deserved celebration. As soon as the day that came out, I did try to convince Miss Marioni several times to change the date. Please change the date. However, she's so mean and said that was impossible, so I missed out. But I hope you enjoy yourself. I want you to know that it was an honor and a privilege to have worked with you since March of 2001. I want to thank you for your leadership, your support, your guidance, your advices, support not only at work. Unfortunately, I went through some very difficult situations, and the support that you gave my family and myself is so greatly appreciated and will never, ever be forgotten. I congratulate you again on your retirement. Hope you enjoy it to the fullest with your family. And you stay in touch. Have a great night. Hope this night is memorable. And blessings to you and your family.
In the famous words of Adrian, you're so excellent. We love you, Lair Bear.
Go ahead and say it.
T.
Say Dr. Ellison.
Dr. Ellison, you're so excellent.